So for the rest of this video, I'm just going to walk through the main features of the SMS2 and give you a feel for what it all looks like and processes and such. But as we get started with that information, just remind you that all this material from here on in is just reference material that I pulled from the BCLN site. Lynn Hadfield put this all together and did a nice job, so it's all there for your reference for future. But again, this video is just kind of a nice overview run through it for those who are maybe new to the SMS concept. General layout when you're into the SMS. So we've got their birth date, the grade, the school they're coming from. Then underneath for each course, you've got the course name, the teacher of the course. Again, that's automatically pulled. The program, the dates. So it identifies the dates they applied, then their date of activation, then their date of completion or withdrawal. So it keeps track of those dates, timestamps them as you go. Percentage of course complete, percentage currently in the course, their work ethic there. And so different schools will treat that different ways as far as keeping the work ethic totally up to date there or putting it into MyEdBC, whichever. And then the status of the student over on the far right, again, starts off as requested, and then once they've got their Verify ID, it goes to enrolled. And then once they're in the course, then they can either be dropped from there or go to active. And then an active student can either be completed or withdrawn. It's time to verify ID, and you click the little Verify ID button. It just bounces up to the right like this, and you've got the option down at the bottom. I think I mentioned this before, but you can just select what was used for the ID, multiple buttons or what have you, and then just click ID, and that's how it's verified. So normally a program would just keep all that other data in a file, and then here they would just click it to identify that yes, it has been put on file. Once you have verified them, then it just jumps you to here where you can enroll the students. You can just identify which courses. They may have requested a bunch of courses and you verify their ID, but you just want to enroll them at one for now and see how they do depending on the student. It's totally up to you as a program on how you manage that. But anyways, you can choose to enroll them in any number at this point. And if they say, oh, you know what, I think I would like to do this math course, or maybe you decide that the student should do this math course instead, you can add a course to them in the bottom screen there. You can just add a new course to them to enroll them in as well. So basically at this point, the office maintains control over, okay, we verified ID, now let's decide exactly where you're going from here. And so it's time to activate a student, and so it just looks like this. You see them in the screen, and this is just an example, but normally you would see that they've done over 5% of the course or what have you, and everything's good, and you go and you click activate, and it brings up the little calendar, and you just choose the date in which is the appropriate day to activate them. Default is the day that you're doing it, which normally you just keep as, but should you realize you're a bit behind in your marking and for some reason you decide that it was a week ago that they should have been activated, you can identify that at this point, and it will timestamp that and keep track of it for all future purpose. And if unfortunately you can't activate them and it's time to drop them, then you just choose the drop, which is the left side of that button. Once activated, your two choices are to complete or withdrawn, and so those are the buttons that appear for a student that is active. Now these are the options that the teacher has, so it just kind of based on policy limits your options so that mistakes aren't being made. Once if you identify them as withdrawn, same kind of thing, the little calendar comes up and you identify that. If you identify them as complete, then what it asks for is for you to just verify their final grade, which you can either leave as the grade that they currently have in Moodle, or you can adjust it if there's some rounding or some extra project involved or whatever. You have the right to override that, and then you complete them. And status gets updated for both of those so that the office can see them, and things are adjusted in MyEdBC accordingly. So one of the really popular features of SMS1 was the ability to keep a contact log. And so for each student, all the contacts by any staff, whether it be admins, dealing with a student in their office, or a teacher contacting home and making a little note about what's going on there, or counselors who want to keep track of, there's been some trouble with a student or they're doing particularly good or whatever. But everybody who's dealing with that student has the ability to take a look and see what all the contacts were and stuff like that. And that was extremely popular for SMS1. Admins could get on the phone and or have a parent calling about something going on, students behind and they weren't told about this, I don't know, and they can just pull up that student and see all the contacts. And so every teacher in our program, we really encourage every teacher, when they're phoning home, when they're meeting with a student that brings up some discussion that should be documented, put it in the contact log so that another teacher who's dealing with that same student gets a bit of a feel for what's going on, or the admin or the counselors. And counselors use it as well. The counselors at the school, okay, so this person's been away, there's been some sickness in the family, So all those things that are good to know about a student that you're trying to get them to reach their goals are all logged there, and the appropriate people can see it. And so it actually was really good in SMS1, and they've improved it a little bit in SMS2. So it's actually even a little smoother to add contact logs for SMS2. So it's been a good thing. And so for when you need to generate some stuff for the paper lovers or what have you, that ability too, you just click on whichever students you want to be doing this for. And then there's a button that appears that's reports. And so at this point, there's 4 reports that are available. You can do a registration form. There are some districts out there who like to keep a paper file for the registration form. Of course, in the SMS, everything's time-stamped and everything like that. So should you have an audit or should you need anything, it's all there. But if the need is to have something paper-wise, then you can do it there. Also, you can generate achievement data from there for particular students. And so just a nice summary that a lot of districts seem to use that to compare when it's 1701 time, just compare the government reports with what they've got here and just make sure that something's not missing or what have you. And so then also you can generate report cards here as well. And so fairly similar to SMS1 report cards, they're all PDFs. So the registration form's a PDF, so you can print it out nice. Achievement data is a spreadsheet format. Report cards are PDF. Oh, and then there's the achievement data all. And basically what that is, so you don't have to go and click student piles and piles of students and stuff like that to do it. If you want to generate them all, it's quite a process. So if you choose that, then what it does is it will wait until a low time with the SMS so that the server doesn't get killed when you're trying to do a great wad of data at once. And so then you just come back the next day and you've got all your achievement data ready to go. So that's the reporting. And there's a little feature allowing you to send out messages right from the SMS. The office uses this a bit for chasing down people for verifying ID and stuff like that. I find that mostly teachers use Moodle to send out stuff for students, but this one's kind of handy for the office staff and or admin who aren't really looking at Moodle as much but want to send out the occasional message. So this is handy for them.